Anyone experiencing anxiety because of COVID? I think if we're honest, most of us are experiencing some, right? It may not show up in the same way in each one of us. It may be a little different. But I think we're all experiencing some. So, my name is Rebecca Ruth. I am a life coach, and this is my channel, Learn to Thrive. Welcome. Today is Thriving Thursday, where I put out a short video on Thursdays to help us learn a tool to help thrive better in our lives. This is the very first episode, so welcome. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. Also, please hit the like button. And if you do subscribe, click the little bell, because then you'll get notifications when I do put out new content. You'll get a notification in your inbox. So, welcome to our first installment of Thriving Thursday. Also, if you would like to get in touch with me for life coaching sessions, you can do that at learntothrivelife.coaching@gmail.com. learntothrivelife.coaching@gmail.com. So today, I want to talk about something that maybe many of you have heard before, but we may actually have bad patterns that we don't realize that mean we're not doing this simple thing, right? People talk these days about making sure we're living in the present moment, right? Being present with our friends, our family members, and with our lives, right? With what's going on around us. But there are times that we're just living life and we don't realize that we're not really being present. We're being pulled either into the future or into the past. And because it's where our mental energy is, right? That's what drives how we enter into our lives, how we show up in life. Where's our mental energy, right? So, for example, with COVID, we could be anxious about the future. What's going to happen with the economy? What's going to happen with my job or my kid's job? Or is my mother-in-law going to get sick? I mean, there are all kinds of things we could worry about and be anxious about as it relates to COVID, because there's so much that's unknown. We don't know how long this is going to last, how long a lot of the restrictions will be in place about what we can do and how we can gather and all that. We don't know whether we're going to get sick or a loved one's going to get sick. We don't know about the economy. But let me ask you, is there anything we can do about it? No. And being anxious or worried about it doesn't do anything to help the situation, right? But it's where a lot of us live. We live in anxiety about what's going to happen. What's school gonna look like in the fall? How's this gonna work? How long am I gonna be working from home and not be able to go into the office? How many more people are gonna die? How is my community gonna get back to the way it was, right? So there's a lot of ways in which we can have anxiety about COVID and be worrying. But we can't do anything about the future. All we have is this moment, right? But it may not even be worrying about the future. It may be planning what we're going to be doing or dreaming about things, right? But we're still not living in the present moment if we're thinking about the future in some way, right? Or we might be living in a lot of rumination and regret and thinking about the past. And maybe how we were treated by someone else, or how we showed up and were treated and said things or did things, right? We may relive conversations in our head that we had yesterday with our boss saying, why did I say that? I must have sounded like a complete idiot. And we kind of beat ourselves up, right? So if our minds are going either to the future or to the past, or we might even be thinking about the past of how great it was in the past when we could all get together and we didn't have to wear masks and, but we're being drawn into the past. So my challenge for us is to, during this season of COVID and for the rest of our lives, right, to learn to be present in our lives. I want you to think about a simple concept with me. I want you to think about this. The only moment we actually have to live is this moment. We're not living in the future. We can't live in the past. And we might need to make amends for things we've done in the past, and we might need to think about the past. And there are times that we need to think about the future and plan. But really, the only moment we have to truly live is right now, this moment. So I want to give you a simple example from my morning of how I missed living my life in the moment. For any of you who know me, you know I love really good coffee. So I don't drink coffee throughout the day. I just have my 2 cups in the morning. I have my 2 cups in the morning and then I'm done. But I love really good coffee and I love my mornings. I love to drink good coffee, listen to good music, maybe listen to a podcast or something inspirational while I'm enjoying my coffee and really in the moment with the music or the words that I'm hearing, right? That's my morning. I try to do that in the mornings. So this morning I get up and I'm listening to beautiful music. And I'm sitting here, I'm looking out the window at beautiful nature. And I'm drinking my coffee. So I put my coffee cup down and I was just kind of listening to the music, kind of half listening. And I pick up my coffee cup. It's completely empty. I finished an entire cup of coffee without even realizing that I was drinking it. Because I was thinking, oh, I had just had a sip. Now I'm going to drink my coffee. I drank an entire cup of coffee without savoring it, smelling it, enjoying the flavor of it, and the warmth of it. I didn't live my moment. You know where my mind was? My mind was in the future. My mind was like an hour to an hour and a half into the future making this video. I was thinking about what I was going to say on this video about being present and being mindful. It can catch us at any point, right? We're just not present with what we're doing, what we're experiencing, who we're with, who we're speaking with. Let me ask you to think of another example. Maybe you've had a conversation recently where you're talking with someone and all of a sudden you're thinking about the next thing you're going to say. So you're pulled out into the future. You're trying to look for an opportunity to break into the conversation so you can say your thing. That may be 5 seconds from now or 30 seconds from now or whatever. But it's still the future. You're not in that moment with that person, really, truly listening to them, hearing them, seeking to understand what they're saying. You're thinking about what you're going to say next. Or maybe you're thinking about a previous conversation when you're talking to someone. You're thinking, oh yeah, we've kind of had some themes in this conversation that we've had before, and so you're thinking about a previous conversation and how this one's not going to go well either because they did this and they think this and you're not really hearing them in the present. You're not really present with them, right? I've just noticed that I'm using natural light right now because I don't have one of those nice lights, which I will get since I'm doing this channel. So I'm sorry that the lighting keeps fading in and out like this, but It is what it is. It's my first installment of Thrive Thursday, so bear with me. Here's another way, another example, simple example. You're on your morning walk. The birds are singing. The sky is glorious. The trees are magnificent. The flowers in all of their glory and all of their colors are beautiful. The flowering bushes, the smells, the scents from the earth and from the flowers are just captivating. But you miss the entire thing. You miss showing up on your walk. You're not really in your walk. You're not connecting with God and nature and yourself and taking in these beautiful, glorious things. You're thinking about the fact that you've got to get back and get ready for that Zoom meeting. Or you have to get ready and go and do something with the kids so your spouse can work because you're all at home trying to survive COVID, right? Or you're thinking about your project or whatever. You're not in the moment, living your moment. You're being pulled outside of your moment with something else that's in the future that you have to do. Or it could be that you're just thinking you're living in anxiety, worrying about the future. Or you're on your morning walk and you're replaying in your mind over and over again that conversation from yesterday with your spouse or your boss or whomever, where you're like, why did I say that? And they, oh my, that conversation, and you keep playing it over and you're thinking, how could I have said that differently? Why didn't I say this? Why didn't I say that? You're missing your walk. You're thinking about something in the past, or you're thinking about how someone hurt you in the past and living in victimhood, or you're living in shame from the past, which is a really bad place. None of these places that we spend our mental energy are healthy places. There are times to plan for the future. There are times to think about the past. There are times to make amends for the past, of course. And there are times that we have to dream, right, a bit, so that we can actually have those dreams that we can then see in reality in real time in our lives right now, right? But I want to challenge us to be mindful and to remember one simple thing that may help us come back to the present. And that is to breathe. I know many of you have heard this before, but we forget to do it. When we find ourselves drifting off into the future or drifting off into the past, we need to remember to breathe. Breathe deeply. Remind ourselves to breathe deeply 3 times and bring yourself back into the present. It calms our central nervous system and it helps us be present. So learn to breathe. And trust God for the future, because we can't do anything about it. And live in forgiveness of the past and forgive others for the past. And live now, the only moment you have. Live it now, present with all the people around you or with your surroundings. Be present with God. Be present with yourself. Be present with others. Be present with nature. Let's not lose our moments. Let's live them. Grace and peace to you.